tweeted after the game on Sunday that you've now had 2 games with no penalties. Do you think that's wise to do to attract what might attract any additional attention to you on that?
I don't know, Buck. I don't know if referees are going through everybody's Instagram handle or Twitter handles and making sure what's what. But it's more of a joke than anything else, as my penalties were so bad last year. I'm trying to make a conscious effort this year of still being just effective while also not having penalties. But I wouldn't make it a bigger deal than it is. It was more of a joke than anything else.
What's the difference this year so far? I know it's early, but like, what are you doing anything differently to try and avoid those?
I think I'm way more conscious of it. I definitely am trying to make sure that, at the end of the play, pulling up a little bit, like, not, just being conscious of it. That's the easiest thing I could say. Like, that's really what it is, I've gone into seasons not worried about it my whole life. Like, I don't think I've ever made it through the first game of the season ever without getting a penalty. So I would say it's a step in the right direction, but by no means is it, make everything better through all the penalties I've gotten throughout my career. So like I said, it was a joke. I'm conscious of it. Will I probably have a penalty this year? Yes. That's probably going to happen, but it's definitely something that when you notice a flaw of yours, you want to work on. And that's what I've chose to work on this offseason.
Paul?
How much is the room enjoying not having us in there, Taylor? How much is that galvanizing things in any way?
I'd say Darren Bates is probably the happiest of everybody that you're not in there. But other than that, you guys it's great to have you guys in there. Honestly, it's, I think through the years, the longer you're here, you develop relationships with guys and girls. And it is nice to have you guys in here. It's a little different, but we've been working through adversity, obviously, with this whole COVID thing. Yeah, I wouldn't say anyone's like super happy or super sad. It is, it's just part of the gig.
Appreciate it.
Jim?
Hey, Taylor. Where's Ryan Tannehill in your mind as far as his toughness and his willingness to kind of take one for the team, standing in there and taking hits as he delivers throws?
It's pretty incredible. I know the pass to Hump, guy right in his face and to throw a ball like that, no flinch at all. I'm not a quarterback, so I've never been in the position to be taking a hit while throwing the ball. But, Tannehill's as tough as they come, man. He's been doing a great job. He's been sitting in there, stepping up at the pocket for us, getting the ball out, helping the offensive line out. The receivers have done a good job of getting open. It's a team sport for a reason. But Tannehill, I think, is one of the tougher ones I've ever seen as far as not flinching and making the right throws.
John?
Yeah, Taylor, Mike was saying he wanted to see some more efficiency in the run game as it applies to you guys on the O-line. What's that mean to you guys?
I think Braves is right. We do need to be a little more efficient. I think it's little things here and there, whether it's not being tight enough on a double team or too wide on a I don't want to give out scheme, but on blocking somebody out. It's little detail things that we can focus on and fix easily, and it's just a matter of doing that. And the coaches have put us in a good position. We've been growing each week. I think this time last year it was better as far as Derek's yards, but there's an expectation we have in our offensive line. There's an expectation these coaches have for us, and I think so far we've not been there just yet. We're taking steps in the right direction, but we need to definitely be better.
Kayla?
Hey, Taylor, hope you're doing well. On the note of Tannehill, going back to him and just his confidence as a quarterback, as a leader with your team, how much have you seen that even grow within the past, end of last year, start of this year? Because he seems like he's really more vocal, kind of finding himself more and showing more of himself.
Yeah, obviously he's going to be more vocal. This is, quote unquote, his team. He's got the keys to the car. So, the first couple of games of the year, he wasn't the starter. He knew that, and there's obviously a different role you have to play. And I think he grew into that role more and more as the season went. And then obviously this year, John, with the confidence he has in the team, has it in the contract he got, like he's definitely acting and being the best leader on this team. He's definitely done a good job when we get into the red zone. He's very vocal about, hey, let's get Derek in. Let's make sure we hold up on this situation. So he's very vocal, and he's fun to block for sure.
Teresa?
Taylor, you mentioned the details that can be improved on blocking. How much better can this offense be? And part of that, maybe the goal to not need to drive down the field at the end of the game to get the winning field goal like you have the last 2 weeks?
I think that's just part of football. I mean, it's the NFL, right? This league's built to be 8-8, so I'm sure we'll be in another situation like that probably more times than one this year where we have to go and make a drive at the end of the game. But from an efficiency standpoint, we can put on the film, and you put up 33 points, and we're 2-0, and you would think in this locker room that we're 0-2. The way we're focused, which I think is different than I've seen in past years. There's been a certain level of like, hey, we did it feeling throughout the locker room, and I think guys are definitely like, we know how much better we can be from an offensive line standpoint, just being a little more clean, a little more crisp on a certain blocks, and that'll help Derek pop through a couple of things, but they're not always big glaring things. They're more lots of little tiny things that we have to work through.
David?
Taylor, back to the penalties for a second. It looks like you're a guy who interacts with the officials a lot. I mean, do you feel like you have a good relationship with those guys, or have there been times you felt like they even target you a little bit?
I would say in recent years, I don't know if we have a good relationship if they're throwing that many flags at me, but I don't know. I mean, you play in this league long enough. You get to meet those guys, you talk to them. They're all good guys. They're trying to do the best during the game to make the best calls they can. I'm trying to stay out of their eyesight as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, you get to know them, and when you get as many flags as I have, you probably talk to them a little bit more than most guys have. So, like I said, it's been a conscious effort this season. I'll try to continue to do that and still be effective as much as possible.
Terry?
Taylor, saw that you tweeted in the wake of all the injuries that took place around the league last week. Are you a little concerned, given the difference of the offseason and no preseason, that the injuries could mount up this year more so than usual, or just your way of passing along condolences?
I think at this point, they've already mounted up way more than usual, right? I think 7, ACL tears in one day is got to be some sort of a record. But, been in the league for 7 years, been able to go to a couple Pro Bowls and meet some of these guys that unfortunately were hurt. And I know that they're great people. I know that, like Saquon Barkley, for instance, spent a little bit of time with him down in Florida during the Pro Bowl, and he's a good person, more than anything. He's a father. His wife and my wife got to talk a little bit. So your heart goes out to those guys, because an ACL is a freak injury. You can't really, it's hard to, make sure it doesn't happen. It's one of those things, when it happens, it happens. And as far from a worry standpoint, the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. So it's not if, it's when, and you just got to play as hard as you can, and hopefully they get you a little farther down the line than earlier.
Last one, Paul.
Hey, you said Ryan's really fun to block for. Roger seemed to get a kick out of it when on one of the rare occasions Tannehill got hit. He said and one after the touchdown pass to Humphreys. What's it like to see the quarterback react that way on the rare occasion he does get popped?
That's badass. That's just what I mean. That was cool. I was right there, and I didn't watch Hump score. I watched Tannehill and his reaction, and he's kind of looking, and he just gave the and one, and it was solid, man. It was pretty cool. But yeah, we have a lot of confidence in Ryan, and I think Ryan has a lot of confidence in us, the way he stands and sits in the pocket. So just try to continue to get better every single week.